Hello guys, my name is Khan, and in today's video I will show you guys that how you can apply font changes to your cells with the help of VBA. So this is the Excel file that I have. So first I will go to my sheet view, and before going further, as I will be going to create macro to show you guys that how you can apply font changes to with the help of macro. So before going further, I will save it. VBA, I have already created a folder. I will not change its name as, but the important thing is that I will not save it as Excel workbook because I will be going to create macro. So I will save it as Excel macro enabled workbook, and now I will save it. So before going towards the macro, what are the font changes? So suppose if I write down for example, and I want to write down, for example, from this cell A1 to A5, so I can simply drag it here. And then if I also want to put it till here, till B5, I can just simply do it like this. And then the next thing that I want to do is that suppose if I want to change the font, instead of Calibri, I want other font type, maybe Calibri Light or whatever you like, maybe Arial. And then after that, what I can do, I can increase the size of the font, make it bold, make it italic, make it underline. So these are the all things that I will go through today, and I will try to apply these changes, but not through this home tab. I will try to apply these changes with the help of macro. So before going further, what I will do, I will just delete these things that I have created just to give an example. So, and now I will try to discuss these things with the help of macro. So in order to create a macro, you can go to developer tab, and then this is the Visual Basic thing. And I will be creating a module within this workbook, within this VBA project. So I will go, so what I can do, I can simply go to this down arrow button to insert a module, or I can just simply right click and then say insert module. And once I have this blank module, I can start writing down my macro. So I will be, after sub, you can name whatever you want to name your macro. So I will be saying font testing. Again, this is, you can name it whatever you want according to your need. And sub, so whatever I will write down between sub and end sub will be considered as my macro. So the first thing is that I want to write down from A1 to A5, for example. How can you do this? So in my previous videos, I have covered that in order to put some value into a cell, you can simply write cell. So I will write down cells, and then within cell I will be telling first row A column and is equal to, for example. And now if I execute this code, if I'm playing this, and if I go back to my Excel workbook, you can see that I applied it, got for example got written down here. But as you can see that I have already applied the changes, so that's why I have just told with the help of my macro that write for example, but it have written down for example, but I have applied some manual changes to the font in these cells. That's why it is showing me bold, italic and Arial. So if you want to remove these changes that I have manually applied, I will select that, or I can select the whole sheet, and I will come to this clear, and I will say clear format, or clear formats. So now you can say this is the thing that I have printed. So now if I delete it, and again if I run my macro, let's say plate, and go to my workbook. Now you can say for example is again written down here, But this way is very cumbersome. So suppose in order to write down, for example, in A2, I will repeat it, copy this function, and here I will say 2, and then I will run it. And now you can see I have also, for example, got written down here. So this way is very cumbersome because I have to keep on writing down cells again and again and the other thing is that each value is the same. I'm not repeating it. So in that case, instead of doing coding like this, it's better to use a function which is the range function. So instead of cell, I will just comment it out with the help of writing down this mark in the start of the code. So now this is not the code. This is not the code. This is just an behave like a comment in my macro, or I can just simply delete it too, which I will delete it later. So now what I will be using the function range, and then within the range I want to say write, for example, starting from A1 to A5, and I'm saying it here is equal to write down for example. Now let's say if I execute the code, how it looks like, and you can see, for example, got written down by my macro till A5 from A1. But suppose if you want to write down, for example, from A1 till B5, it's very simple. I just have to come up here and have to change it to B5, and now if I execute it, you can see that we have, for example, in both columns till B5. So this is one of the way, and now I will delete it so that you guys don't get confused. But the next thing is that now I would like to apply changes to this range. How can I do that? So in order to apply some font changes, so I will come up here, I will copy it again here, and I will write down dot, and now I want to apply some font changes, font dot, and I want to apply some new font. I will say name of the font is equal to, and suppose if I want Arial, I will say Arial, and now let's see if I run it, you can see font get changed now. Now I have Arial. Before that I think I was having Calibri. And now what I will do, I will apply some other changes. So suppose if I want to do it bold, how can I do it? So I will again copy it and paste it here, but instead of font, after font dot, I will be saying bold is equal to, and I will be saying true. It's because the font will be true or false only. So suppose if I want these cells to be bold, it will be bold true or bold false. Currently by default it's false, so if I can make it true and I can run it, and now you can say both cells got all my values got bold. But suppose if I want it false, you can false it too. Now let's see if I do. Now it's back to not bold, and again if I want true, I can true it. So for this macro I will keep it true. And now the next thing I will do is the change. How can I change the size of my font? So again I will be copying this thing again and will be pasting it here, and now I will be saying size is equal to, currently the size is 11, but suppose if I want to change it to 30, let's say plate, let's see how it changed the look. Now you can say it's changed to 30, and again what I will be doing is now suppose if you want to make it italic, how can you do it? Again I will be using the same part, range font, and now I will be saying italic is equal to true. just like bold, italic is either true or false. By default, it's false, and I can say true. Now it's shown as italic in italic. And the other thing is that also I can do it underline. So again, I will be saying, pasting it the first part, and then I'm saying underline is equal to true. And if I play it now again, my macro, you can say it got underline. And what I will do now, the last thing is the strike through, that if you want to cross whatever you have written down within the cell, how can you do it? So again, I will paste here, then I will be saying strike through is equal to true. And if I execute my code now, you can see that there is a line which is crossing my words that I have written down in these cells. So, but another thing that I like to share, so this is few examples in which I have shown you guys that how you can apply font changes with the help of VBA and with the help of creating a macro. But in the important thing to note here is in the selected cell that the one thing is that which seems a bit cumbersome, that I am writing this range A1 to B5 and then font again and again in each line, which makes it a bit cumbersome. But suppose if you want to not to do that and you want to get rid of this repetition to make your code simple, so you can easily do that with the help of with function, which VBA provides. That with function, with the help of with function, you can say that mention that don't let to add this thing by default in the start of each line. How can I do that? So I will do it here. Before going further, what I will do, I will clear all the formatting in my sheet so that you're able to see that the changes that I applied in my VBA more clearly. So now let's see if what I will do, I will start this function with, and after with, I want to say that add this part in each line. So after that, I don't need this thing again and again. So I'll be saying add with A1 to B5 dot font in all the lines starting from after this with functionality. So I will just remove it, and here I will remove it. Here I will also remove it. Again, there is no need to here, and then just like here too. And then I will also remove this part. And now what I will do in the end, I will because I am starting this with functionality, and after that I want to end it here, so I will say end with. Otherwise, if you don't end, it will keeps on adding this starting part in every command you have written down. Once you have end with, then VBA will come to normal, and it will not add this starting part to each part of the code. So let's see. Currently, I have nothing here. I have cleared the formatting so that in order to see that this with functionality is working or not. And now, I suppose if I execute it, you can see all the changes are back. And with the help of this with functionality, your code can be will looks nicer, and you don't need to repeat same things again and again. So in the end, we discuss in this video about how you can apply fonts with the help of VBA, and then we also look at how you can apply with functionality to make your code a bit nicer and easier to code. Thank you for watching the video.